If you've ever felt like long, drawn-out handshakes feel a little bit weird, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. It is Thursday, May 14th. It's the penultimate date of the week, and we've got more stuff going on. Major blowout earnings for legacy tech Cisco last night. We're going to cover that. We're going to take a look at that. Ondas reporting earnings here today. Looks like that's trading up. Giddy up. We've got some more news to go through. I have a special guest for you here today. It's all AI. That's what's driving everything. We're back at it again. We're going to cover all of that. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Thursday edition for May 14th, 2026, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your hump day, Wednesday, whatever you call it. I hope that it was great for you. Sorry, Pistons fans, but you're going to get another shot. You're going to get another shot. And Wiss, if you're out there, boy, your Braves are tough, buddy. Regardless, great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. Solitary Soldier is first. Let's go. Good morning, everyone, indeed. And good morning to you, Solitary Soldier. Thanks for joining us again here today. Peter, good morning. Going to be a great day with the Cerberus IPO, ticker CBRS. And indeed, it is going to be a big day. I would be very curious to see how many of you folks trade that, how you're going to do with that, the whole 9 yards. Let me know if you're looking to trade that. It'll probably open by the time we get off here. By the way, who traded T-Dick yesterday after we got off? How do we call that one? Tell you what, one of the things that we've noticed, make a note of all of the movers that we talk about, because every day one of them has ended up going ham after we get off the show. PSA, and thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Crispy Biscuit, good morning. Welcome back. Anyone have any expectations on Clarity? Yeah, I hope they pass it. I hope they vote on it and pass it. I don't know if that's an expectation more than a hope, but it is what it is. Yes, that girl, good morning. Welcome back. Francis, good morning. Welcome back. Zach McCracken, good morning. Welcome back. Janie, good morning. It's great to see you as always. Billy, our human chat scanner, dominating already. Welcome back, buddy. Good morning. Corey, good morning. It's good to see you as always. Cad Monkey, good morning. Says, I feel like I'm rich even though I'm not wealthy yet. Today is another day towards that goal. Robert, good morning. It's great to see you. Derek, welcome back. Good to see you again as well. Richard Judge, good morning. Welcome back. Richard, just keep pumping the positivity, buddy. We need that. Kenneth, good morning. Dirkus, good morning. Cad Monkey says, lol, when you dance to the intro music. Yo, full disclosure, while I'm sitting here waiting for the show to start and I got my earbuds in and I'm listening to the music, I've bobbed my head a little bit. I've hummed to it. You're not alone in that. Don't feel bad about that. But as the producer says, that means we're going to have a good day here today. Positive vibes flowing all of the time. South Florida trades. Good morning. Stormy South Florida. Okay, well, hopefully it's not too bad out there. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully we can clear the skies for you here today. See what I did there? Matthew, good morning. Welcome back. Zach McCracken says, Ondas, apparently institutional stakes surge ahead of earnings. Well, that's a good sign. Earnings were good. Perhaps they knew something. Bernhard, good morning. Welcome back. Doc, good morning. Welcome back. Joe, good morning. Ondas record quarter. I haven't even gone through the report yet. I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to do that because I have to do some reading. But hey, record quarter, we'll take it. Looks like it popped 10 here. That's what we need. Let's see if we can get back above 12. That's what we really need. Linda, good morning. Welcome back. Marionette, it's great to see you as always. Cameron, welcome back. You asking, is retail report going to impact semi? So I think you're referring to the retail sales, which are due here today. I don't know how much that's going to impact the semiconductors. I would say this, if it made them trade down a little bit, I would think that dip's going to get bought. That's what we've seen. I mean, after yesterday, after the PPI and the CPI, I don't think retail sales are going to matter all that much, but we'll see. And I think that's what you're talking about. Just passing through. Good morning. Welcome back. Today is my 56th lap around the sun. Hey, happy birthday. Good deal. Hopefully this lap is as fruitful and awesome as the previous laps. Good to have you back. Brandy, good to have you back. Great to see you. Welcome. Tyler, good morning. Fake Beat, good morning. Wiss, good morning. Butcher, good morning. Robot to Trade, good morning. Deep, good morning. Reggie, good morning. And Nancy, good morning. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, futures are green here ahead of Thursday's open. S&P futures up by 0.35%. The Dow futures up by 0.83%. And the NASDAQ, actually the laggard today, but still up by 0.25%, 0.25%. All right, let's take a look at some cues from the last session here. Let me go ahead and share the right thing. Communication services, consumer discretionary, and information technology stocks led the S&P 500's gains on Wednesday, while utilities and financials ended lower. U.S. stock futures rose on Thursday following Wednesday's mixed close. This comes as President Trump is in China addressing key issues such as trade, tariffs, Taiwan, and Iran with Chinese President Xi Jinping. On Thursday, Xi stressed the significance of the Taiwan issue, terming it as, quote, the most critical matter, end quote, in the bilateral relations. And the South China Morning Post, or SCMP, reported that, citing the state media. Meanwhile, the U.S. cleared NVIDIA, ticker NVDA's H200 AI chip sales to Alibaba, ticker BABA, and Tencent Holdings, ticker TCEHY on the OTC, and 8 other firms, but Beijing has halted the deliveries thus far. The 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.46%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.97%. The CME Group's Fed Watch Tool projections show that the markets are pricing in a 98.6% likelihood that the Federal Reserve leaves the current interest rates unchanged during the June meeting. Now, we've got several stocks in focus here for you today, and the first one is the big earnings report from yesterday. It is absolutely Cisco. Cisco, huge move here today, a huge move by any standards, but especially a huge move here for Cisco. Cisco Systems, ticker CSCO, soared 18.8% in the pre-market on Thursday after it announced better than expected third quarter financial results and raised its fiscal year 26 guidance. Cisco Systems Q3 adjusted EPS of 1.06 beat the 1.03 estimate, and sales of $15.841 billion beat the $15.558 billion estimate. Cisco Systems also raises fiscal year 26 adjusted EPS guidance from a range of 413 to 417 to a new range of 427 to 429, and that was versus an estimate of 416. Big raise there. It also raised fiscal year 2026 sales guidance from a range of 61.2 to 61.7 billion to a new range of 62.8 to 63 billion, and that was versus the estimate of 61.596 billion. The next stock on our list is going to be Doximity. The ticker is DOCS, and it plunged 21.46% after reporting mixed fourth quarter financial results and issuing weak first quarter sales guidance. Doximity's Q4 adjusted EPS of 26 cents missed the 28-cent estimate, and sales of 145.4 million beat the estimate of 144.07 million. Doximity sees fiscal year 2027 sales of 664 million to 676 million, and that was versus an estimate of 697.59 million. The next stock on our list is going to be Grocery Outlet Holding, and the ticker is GO, G-O. It gained 16.41% after the California-based discount grocer reported first quarter results where earnings per share beat analyst estimates by 150%. Grocery Outlet Holdings' Q1 adjusted EPS of 5 cents beat the 2-cent estimate, and sales of 1.16 billion beat the estimate of 1.15 billion. The next stock on our list is going to be Precision Optics Corporation, and the ticker on this one is POCI. Shares zoomed 16.96% after posting third quarter revenue of 8.7 million. That was more than double the 4.2 million reported in the same period a year ago. The last stock on our list is going to be the big earnings report of today. It is Applied Materials. The ticker is AMAT, ticker AMAT, and it was 2.01% higher as analysts expect it to report earnings of $2.66 per share on revenue of $7.68 billion after the closing bell today. One more note in terms of stocks to watch today, we also have the new IPO of Cerberus coming today. All right, let's take a look at the SPY chart, and this is where we are. Yep, guess what? We are set to open up at a new all-time high. A new all-time high was set yesterday at 743.91. Currently here in the pre-market, we're sitting at 745.12. The market, I would imagine, is moving on the Cisco earnings. They were quite good. And so far with the summit, the Trump-Xi summit over in China, we haven't heard anything bad, at least bad enough to bring the market down. Now, I know that there's speculation that we might not get anything big at all out of this, but so far, so good. There's really been nothing terrible that has happened and really kind of sank things. So we'll see if that changes here today, if we get more stuff out of that. CNBC has been playing clips of what's going on over there, and everything looks cordial and pleasant thus far. So we'll see. As far as the chart goes here, we're still in breakout mode. Pullback areas are still the same. Still thinking the 728 to 725 gap area might provide some support if we do reverse. We're now at the point where the 20-day moving average has moved up and hopefully will help support us if we do pull back. The market has continued to push higher on low volume. None of that has changed. There's definitely a cautious feeling out there, which I totally understand. We had a couple of people from Happy Hour yesterday talking about how, you know, they're approaching the market with caution. They're swing trading and they're day trading, but they're keeping a lot of cash because they kind of think that eventually we're going to pull back here. I know a lot of us have talked about that here in the morning show, and I think that's really smart. Again, despite the nice move higher here, despite the good corporate earnings, despite the AI boom and all of that, still think that a 10% or slightly more pullback in 2026 is possible. And we're just trying to stay nimble for that. But for right now, the trend is your friend, and the trend definitely is up. All right, let's take a look at some insights from analysts, then we'll roll through some of the news here. According to BlackRock's May 2026 commentary, the firm maintains a pro-risk stance, specifically overweighting U.S. equities, despite the elevated oil prices and interest rates. BlackRock argues there is, quote, no disconnect between record oil U.S. equities priced and elevated oil commodities and yields, end quote, as the market is simultaneously pricing in AI-driven growth and the impact of the Middle East supply shock. However, the economy faces risks from sticky inflation and rising long-term yields. BlackRock notes, quote, the combined effect of higher inflation and rising capital demands could push yields high enough to weigh on valuations, end quote. Despite these pressures, the firm prefers equities over bonds, remaining underweight long-term U.S. Treasuries due to the compounding effect of energy price shocks on inflationary pressures. So BlackRock still telling you that they are pro-risk, and with the way the market is moving, that makes a lot of sense to me. All right, let's talk here about Cisco. They did report earnings. We also got some more news that they're actually cutting employees in an AI overhaul. But the CFO says it's not savings driven, but a realignment of resources. So is this AI creeping in again to make changes at some of these companies? Sure seems like it. Cisco Systems, ticker CSCO, is cutting nearly 4,000 jobs as part of a sweeping restructuring effort designed to accelerate its push into artificial intelligence, security, silicon, and network infrastructure. On Wednesday, the networking giant announced the workforce reduction, framing the move as a strategic repositioning rather than a traditional cost-cutting initiative. Cisco said the growing demand from AI hyperscale cloud customers and AI-related infrastructure is driving the need to redirect investments towards faster-growing business segments. During the company's third quarter earnings call, CFO Mark Patterson noted that the restructuring is intended to improve execution speed in critical growth markets. Quote, "This was really not a savings-driven restructure," end quote. Patterson went on to say, quote, "It's really realigning resources around silicon, optics, security, and AI," end quote. He added that rapid technology shifts are forcing Cisco to ensure talent and investments are concentrated in the right areas in order to stay competitive. Earlier during the announcement, CEO Chuck Robbins reinforced that message, describing the layoffs as part of a broader transformation strategy aimed at long-term value creation. Quote, "The companies that will win in the AI era will be those with focus, urgency, and the discipline to continuously shift investments toward the areas where the demand and long-term value creation are strongest," end quote. Cisco did post third quarter revenue of $15.84 billion, which topped analyst estimates of $15.56 billion, while adjusted earnings per share of 106 beat the expectations of 103. For the fiscal fourth quarter, Cisco forecasted revenue of $16.7 billion to $16.9 billion, which is above estimates of $15.82 billion, and adjusted earnings of $1.16 to $1.18 per share, ahead of the projections of $1.07 per share. The company also raised its full-year revenue guidance to $62.8 billion to $63 billion. And that was up from its previous outlook of $61.2 to $61.7 billion, and above the expectations of $61.6 billion. So Cisco absolutely crushing it. I know several folks from our morning show and our happy hour show were trading this with options, and they are doing well here today. No position for me on Cisco. We'll see if that sets up for another possible trade here today. All right, now we did just get some CPI and PPI prints that showed that there was some inflation. BlackRock's Jeff Rosenberg pushes back on the panic and says it's better in the details. Thought this story was interesting too. Jeff Rosenberg, senior portfolio manager at BlackRock, which is ticker BLK, said Thursday that inflation pressures may actually be nearing a peak despite recent hotter than expected CPI and PPI reports that reignited fears of further Federal Reserve tightening. Speaking on CNBC's Closing Bell Overtime, Rosenberg said markets may be looking beyond alarming headline inflation figures because underlying inflation measures appear more stable. Quote, "If you look inside the data today, it was actually a little bit better in the details," end quote. Rosenberg said that, pointing to softer core PCE trends and easing tariff-related inflation pressures. His comments came after U.S. consumer inflation rose to 3.8% in April from 3.3% in March, topping economist expectations and marking the hottest CPI reading since May of 2023. Producer prices also surged more than expected, with headline PPI jumping 6% year over year in April, the highest level since late 2022. The hotter inflation data pushed Treasury yields higher and sharply reduced expectations for near-term Federal Reserve cuts. Still, Rosenberg said the bond market reaction remained relatively restrained because investors are focusing more closely, on underlying inflation trends rather than headline-driven energy spikes. He said short-term Treasury yields remain heavily tied to inflation expectations from Federal Reserve policy, while longer-term yields are increasingly being driven by structural financing pressures tied to fiscal deficits, AI infrastructure spending, and global energy management. Rosenberg added that tariff-related inflation may begin fading in coming months, echoing recent comments from New York Fed President John Williams, who said existing tariff pass-through effects could gradually ease, even as energy prices remain elevated. Rosenberg also warned that longer duration government bonds could face continued pressure as rising borrowing needs push investors to demand higher term premiums or additional compensation for holding the long-term debt. He contrasted that with corporate credit markets, where investor demand has remained resilient amid strong liquidity and continued enthusiasm around AI-related growth. The comments come as markets continue adjusting to a higher for longer rates environment following this week's inflation reports. According to the CME's FedWatch data cited earlier this week, traders are increasingly pricing in the possibility of another Fed rate hike by 2027, or maybe perhaps multiple. We had a discussion yesterday on Happy Hour where the conclusion from some folks, not folks in Happy Hour, but some of the Fed watchers, said that if Mirren wasn't around, we might be looking at 4 hikes from here this year. We'll see how all of that shakes out as well. Okay. Next piece of news here. This is on some of these chips. And I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier. Bessent went into a little bit more on this as well, or Lutnick, or both of them actually. Trump clears the NVIDIA H200 sales to Alibaba, Tencent, and 8 others, but Beijing has halted those deliveries, at least so far. The U.S. government has authorized the sale of NVIDIA's powerful H200 AI chips to 10 Chinese tech giants, including Alibaba, ticker BABA, and Tencent Holdings, ticker TCEHY. But Beijing's intervention has brought deliveries to a complete standstill. The U.S. Commerce Department cleared around 10 companies, including ByteDance and JD, along with distributors like Lenovo and Foxconn, to purchase the coveted H200 chips, and that was in a report according to Reuters. Lenovo confirmed it, quote, is one of several companies approved to sell H200 in China as part of NVIDIA's export license, end quote. Each approved customer can buy up to 75,000 of these chips. However, not a single delivery has been made. Reuters reports that Chinese firms pulled back following government guidance. Beijing is increasingly focused on cultivating homegrown AI alternatives such as Huawei to eliminate foreign tech dependencies. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick highlighted this blockage, stating that, quote, the Chinese central government has not let them, as of yet, buy the chips because they're trying to keep their investment focused on their own domestic industry, end quote. The impasse prompted NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang to make a last-minute addition to President Trump's delegation to Beijing. Picked him up in Alaska. Caught between dueling national priorities, Huang is hoping the high-stakes summit between Trump and President Xi Jinping will unlock stalled deals, which he previously estimated could tap into a $50 billion Chinese AI market. The path to a completed sale is obstructed by thorny requirements on both sides. U.S. rules mandate strict security procedures for Chinese buyers. Furthermore, a Trump-negotiated arrangement requires the U.S. to take a 25% revenue cut from the sales, prompting security unease in Beijing. Meanwhile, U.S. hardliners are actively slamming the approved deals. Chris McGuire of the Council of Foreign Relations argued that such sales mean, quote, a smaller U.S. lead in AI over China, end quote, and adding, quote, "It is remarkable that President Trump keeps getting convinced to put NVIDIA's interest ahead of America's," end quote. So we'll see where this ends up going. We'll see if Beijing does, in fact, lift some of those controls. We'll see if these chips indeed make a difference. Now, the next story here, this is going to be regarding Elon Musk. Elon Musk is accused of building the most management-favorable IPO structure at SpaceX. Remember, we got reports that this was going to have a bigger allotment for retail traders. We'll see how that all shakes out, and we'll see how you folks are, how many shares, or if you folks are even able to get shares when that IPO comes out. But let's see what this story says here. Top pension officials from New York and California have written to SpaceX's CEO Elon Musk expressing concern over the extreme governance structure of commercial spaceflight companies ahead of its public listing. New York State Comptroller Thomas DiNapoli, as well as New York City Comptroller Mark Levine and California's Public Employees Retirement System, or CalPERS CEO Marcy Frost, all Democrats, by the way, wrote a letter to Musk accessed by Reuters on Wednesday. Notably, CalPERS has also expressed opposition to Musk's $1 trillion Tesla pay package last year. The officials objected to his power over SpaceX, voting control over the stock, and his de facto power over the company's CEO removal. That was, again, from the report. The company will adopt a dual-class share structure with Musk's Class B shares, each worth 10 regular shares, holding significant voting power. The letter also called the IPO the, quote, most management-favorable government structure, end quote, as well as raising questions about Musk's leadership of SpaceX, Tesla, XAI, The Boring Company, and Neuralink. The letter flagged CEO compensation packages for Musk, saying that the two companies would risk competing against one another. The report said that SpaceX could adopt a controlled company status, which would allow it to bypass requirements for a majority independent board or independent compensation in nominating committees during Musk's tenure as CEO, the chief technology officer, and the chair. New York and California pension funds would become shareholders in the commercial spaceflight giant through passive allocations following its listing, according to the report. Officials urged SpaceX to employ a one vote, one share structure, as well as separate the chair and CEO roles. SpaceX, in filing for its IPO that's targeting a $1.75 trillion valuation, outlined that the company's orbital data center goals, as well as plans to colonize Mars, rely on unproven technology and carry significant risks. SpaceX also mentioned that the goals may not be commercially viable. Meanwhile, Musk shared that figuring out how to create reusable heat shields, as well as developing reliable engines for the Starship rocket, remain a crucial challenge for SpaceX. So we'll see if any of this means anything. I personally don't think any of this is going to affect the IPO even a little bit. So we are still full go on the SpaceX IPO. I'm actually really excited to see how Cerberus does here today, because I think whatever it does, SpaceX is going to do exponentially more. I think it's just going to be an exciting kind of a euphoric day market-wise. That's just my 2 cents. We'll see if it plays out like that. I sure hope it's not the black swan event that really leads to the big sell-off that everybody seems to be waiting for. I hope that's not the case. I don't think it's going to, but stranger things have happened before. All right. Now, this is another, we kind of talked about this a little bit when we've been talking a lot about mobile phones here. But this story, I actually think is really interesting. And again, I want to get some of the opinions here from the group. Analysts say agentic AI will power 1/3 of smartphones within 2 years. Now, I'm still curious to kind of like see how this all works. I use agentic AI on my smartphone now, but it doesn't do everything for me. It's still a traditional phone. But this is saying that is about to change, and change bigly. Counterpoint Research said that the smartphone industry is rapidly shifting towards agentic AI, with chip makers and device makers racing to build smarter, context-aware AI experiences directly into smartphones. Counterpoint Research noted on Thursday that agentic AI-capable smartphone chip segments reached 4% penetration by the end of 2025, with the adoption largely limited to premium Android devices. Principal analyst Suman Mandal said Qualcomm, ticker QCOM, gained an early scale advantage through partnerships with Samsung Electronics, ticker SSNLF, and Chinese smartphone makers. At the same time, its AI software ecosystem and developer collaborations accelerated adoption in flagship devices. At the same time, Mandal said MediaTek became the first chip maker to commercialize agentic AI capabilities through its Dimensity 9400 series, ahead of Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 launch. He added that MediaTek is aggressively expanding into premium smartphones and pushing advanced AI features to broader price categories, increasing competitive pressure on Qualcomm. Counterpoint also projected agentic AI smartphone chip shipments to grow at a 281% compound annual growth rate between 2025 and 2027, with penetration expected to rise 32% by 2027. Counterpoint said Apple, ticker AAPL, continues focusing on-device AI processing through its custom silicon, neural engine, unified memory architecture, and tightly integrated ecosystem. Researchers said Apple's eventual entry into dedicated agentic AI smartphones could significantly reshape the market. The firm added that Samsung is strengthening its position through investment in memory-focused AI technologies and partnerships with companies like Advanced Micro Devices, ticker AMD, and Perplexity, tied to the Galaxy S26 lineup. Meanwhile, Counterpoint said Alphabet, ticker GOOG and GOOGL, is pursuing a hybrid edge-to-cloud AI strategy. The company's shift to Taiwan's Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSM's N3P process, adoption of Imagination Technologies' GPU architecture, and the use of TPU expertise from its data center operations reflect Google's long-term AI ambitions. Research Vice President Peter Richardson said 1 in 3 smartphones sold in 2027 could support agentic AI capabilities, driven by both premium devices above $600 and mid-tier phones priced between $250 and $600. Richardson added that OpenAI could also enter the smartphone market with an AI-centric devices focused more on AI agents than traditional app-based experiences. However, supply chain, scale, memory availability, pricing, and user experience will determine commercial success. Senior analyst Shivani Parashar said more than 80% of premium smartphones could support agentic AI by 2027. But the larger opportunity lies in expanding these capabilities into the mid-tier devices. She said MediaTek currently holds an early advantage in the transition through its agentic AI-ready Dimensity 8400, 8450, and 8500 chipsets. So let me know how many of you folks are interested in an AI smartphone. How many of you want agentic AI capabilities controlling everything from apps to usability of the phone? Joe says I'm still using Gentic AI. Okay. Reese here. This is an interesting question, and I know we've got NVIDIA earnings coming up next week. This is an interesting question to me anyway. Reese saying, do you think a fade play is in for NVIDIA? You know, I'm still kicking around the notion that maybe NVIDIA or that report is the catalyst that is kind of going to turn things around here. And what I mean by that is like investor sentiment. Like, is that report going to mark the top, if you will, for lack of a better term? We'll see if that's the case. All right, let me check in here real quick. I'm still think we're going to be okay with the guest here in a sec, but let me take a look and read you the data point here. So we did get this data. Retail sales came in line month over month for April, 0.5 versus the 5/10 estimate. Retail control month over month for April, 0.5 versus the 4/10 estimate. You see core retail sales 0.7 versus the 7/10 estimate. Import price index was 1.9% versus the 1% estimate. Continuing jobless claims were about in line. They did revise the prior read. And just looking at the market here, S&P futures holding steady here, positive by 0.33%. When we first got on, they were up by 0.35%. So this is basically flat following this data print. Okay. I know it's Thursday, and I know on Thursday we normally do not have a guest, but I have a special treat for you today. We have a guest here for you, and it is my pleasure to welcome the founder of the AI World Fund, Sydney Armani, to the show. Let's go ahead and bring him on. Sydney, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good to be with you. Thursday.
Yeah, happy Thursday indeed. I can hear you fine. Can you hear me all right? Oh, I don't know if Sydney can hear me. Producer, can you help out with this by chance? Can we put him in the back and see if we can get the audio fixed? I'm gonna go ahead and put him in the back here. Producer, let me know if you can help out with that, and we'll go ahead and bring Sydney back. Folks, I am very, very excited about this. I wanted to ask Sydney about a lot of the AI stuff that's going on, and I know he's joining us from the Money Show in Dallas, so please forgive some of the technical challenges that we're trying to overcome here. But we'll try, see if we can fix that audio there and see if we can bring him back on. Producer, just let me know what ends up happening here. In the meantime, I think what we might do, let's roll the street tweet and we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and start street tweets. All right, here we go. Thank you, producer. All right, first tweet here comes from Ross Gerber, and I'll be honest with you. This was a bit of a surprise at first here. Tweet reads, Apple should go into the concert ticketing business. iTunes could handle it. It would be perfect. Charge half of what Ticketmaster does and have all of the data, and the artists win too. Now, when I first thought that, when I first read this on the surface, I was like, Apple is going to sell concert tickets? I was like, I don't know, what's Ross going off about here? The more I thought about it, the more I was like, this is actually not a terrible idea. This actually might work. Then I scrolled down and read some of the comments of the tweet, which is always kind of a crapshoot. And one of the comments here is, quote, I actually think this would be a good idea. Exclamation point. So I thought this was interesting. I actually think that this would be a great boon for Apple if they're able to pull this out. I don't have any indication that this is what they're actually going to try and do. But to me, I think this would be a net positive for Apple. And I can't believe it. I agree, Ross can be very annoying, but I agree with him here. I think this take is spot on. So we'll see. We'll see if this ends up shaking out. I love anything that's going to charge half of what Ticketmaster is trying to charge. Those concert tickets are way too expensive. Way too expensive. Okay, let's get back. Let's try our interview again here. Go ahead and load this up. Let's go ahead and bring Sydney on. Let's see how the audio is working. All right, Sydney, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
All right, perfect. And I can hear you. And I will say, I really want to thank you for taking time out of your day and joining us today. So welcome to the show. Let me just get right into it. It is absolutely great to have you with us. And I heard you're at the Money Show in Dallas today. How's that going?
Well, first of all, good morning. Happy Thursday. And good to be with you, Ryan. I am one of the fans. You get all this wonderful information to your audience over there, and which I'm one of them. So good to be with you. I'm here in Dallas at the Money Show. Money Show is the show that's been around since 45 years ago. It's nothing new, basically. So a lot of old school meeting new school, basically. So old guard, new guard. They have a bunch of information, and I've been with these guys for several years. I speak about AI mostly, which is one of the so-called expert in AI, being from Silicon Valley.
And I mean, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear it's going well. I will say everything it seems to be AI related. It's been in the spotlight for a while now. Lately, companies like AMD, Intel, and Micron, and even Qualcomm are on fire. What do you think about some of these moves in the stock company or in the company's stock price? Do you think it's overhyped, or do you actually think that there's more room to go in the AI phase?
Yeah, that's a great question. No, it's a lot of room to go. As you know, there's a big shortage of the chip, especially AI chip.
Yeah.
So these companies, if they're coming with a new wave of building chips, which is that's very important. But remember, the lifeline of these chips in the data center is not very long. I mean, everybody putting there, but they have to be changing every several years. So there's a lot of demand for the chips here in America, but also around the world. So there's a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, it sure seems like that. And on the point of the chips life cycle, we've heard both sides of that. We've heard some back and forth about that. We've heard exactly what you said, where those have to be refreshed every couple of years. But we've also heard people like Michael Intrater, the CEO of CoreWeave, say that the actual usability, the life cycle of some of these chips can go up to 7 years. Does the truth lie somewhere in the middle, or is it chip dependent? Sydney? Might have lost the connection again there. I'm sorry.
Sorry, we have a tip.
Okay,
And that's a
perfect.
good point basically about these data centers. But remember, you can find some of these chips after a while in a landfill. So there is a way over there, but there's a lot to do with the chips. Everybody looking at the building a chip, but the cooling system of these chips is very important. Now the companies like 3M, nobody, this is old guard. They're building the algo. They're building is actually technical about the chips that they cool off the chips basically. So that's very important. You need to go look around, see what's going on, not only in this data center, the chips, what goes with it basically. So I will look at the 3M about cooling the chips in the data center.
Okay, and along those lines, are there any other AI related companies that you'd like to put on investors' radar?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm not here to give any kind of advice. Everybody has to
Sure.
talk to but I am very high on the AI in the healthcare because, as experience,
Yes.
AI in healthcare is a winner. Any of these companies that, they do stuff with the AI and the healthcare because I really believe AI for longevity, it's amazing. AI at one point is going to find cancer in stage zero. And some of these companies that I've been looking at myself, again, it's open evidence. Open evidence is a great company and behind the radar. They're not in the market yet, but they're doing amazing things. It's subscription based. It's for the doctors that, they're exchange notes around the world, with the JAMA, with other. So that's a great company, Open Evidence. But another company that there's a drug discovery called Chai Discovery. They're working on the molecules, finding the new drugs very easy, basically. So those are the company. But myself, I will suggest anything has to do with the AI that is legit AI in healthcare. That's number one in my radar.
Yeah, I'm with you there. That's something that we've been looking at. It's good to see that we're looking at the same thing. I want to change gears just a little bit here. I saw that you were on Schwab Network on Monday and you talked about the Circle earnings report. Circle's been up like 30% since the last month. What are your thoughts on Circle and the rest of the stablecoin and blockchain related companies?
Yeah, well, that's another good question, Brian. But blockchain it's a technology that's here to stay. They still circle work. So there's a lot has to do with the basically circling, finding where this come from. Especially in airplanes. So blockchain technology is another thing. But you're asking about Circle right now in the Congress. They are coming together, both Democrat and Republican, to find this Clarity Act. So that has to do with it. There, for the first time, it's going to be legitimized. It's going to be transparent. It's going to be compliance oriented. So that's what they see. This is going to be. It's really happening. So that has to do with a lot with Clarity Act. Obviously, Circle has a very good customer base. They have been subscription based. They're doing very well. So that's what one of the things is, and they're growing rapidly. It's just have a track record.
Okay. And I'll finish up with two more questions here. And again, I really want to thank you for joining us here.
Pleasure.
Within the AI or in the kind of stablecoin or crypto industry, where do you see the biggest opportunity? I know with AI, you already kind of said healthcare, so maybe you already kind of answered that a little bit. But basically, where do you see the next biggest opportunity?
Okay, the next bigger opportunity is going to be in cybersecurity because you
Uh-huh.
just talked about the last segment about AI and AI agent. There's going to be thousands or million of these AI agents, but which one of them is going to be legit? So it's going to be bad actors, good actors. So this is going to be a challenge about these AI agents. We're working. I mean, I'm glad that we're working with something basically is going to legitimize this. We verify these agents before you meet them. It's more of a housekeeping seal of approval. So we have a verify. We're working on this algorithms called AI verify AI agent, which is that's something. So the cyber security, it's a big thing about, and blockchain has something to do with it because we have to make sure that this is very important. And as you see, methods just they didn't release the methods because it's too powerful. Some of these algorithms, new LLM is going to be very powerful. So the bad actors, so it's very, I will see the cybersecurity is a big deal coming in the future in AI world.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you with that. I can't wait to discuss more of those. I was reading that Mythos basically looked at all of this old code and said, a lot of this is terrible.
Yeah.
And so the ability for it to actually, discover a weakness and then maybe lead to a hack, that's going to be really important. I'm glad that you said that. I totally agree with you. And look, if anyone else here wants to follow you, where should they go to get in touch with you or follow the material that you put out?
Well, thank you. Well, we have algorithms called 101 AI World. 101 AI World, we call it. It's right there, 101aiworld.com. You go there, it's more of an encyclopedia of AI. From free training of AI, we have link. You can go to Stanford, get a certificate, learn free basically. And any other, we have a publication, it's very smart content. So it's 101 AI World, which is connected to the AI World Journal. It's a very good. We have a podcast, like when I should syndicate about it. So we're putting everything together. We call it Encyclopedia of AI, and it's free. And but some of the premium we have about some of the information about security, so they can see that. And also, I'm in LinkedIn. It's Sydney Armani basically, and they can find me easily. But if the email come to will be Armani at aiworld.tv.
Okay. Absolutely fantastic. Sydney, we really appreciate your expertise. Thank you so much for taking the time today. And I'll be honest, I look forward to speaking to you in the future about some of these AI developments.
Anytime, and thanks for putting all this great information out there for a lot of people. But last month, AI is here to stay. This is unbelievable. We're just touching the if it's a baseball, we're in about second or third inning of the baseball game.
Okay, that's perfect. We've used that baseball analogy a number of times. Some people have described us as even being in batting practice, but I'll tell you what, second or third inning, there's a lot to go here, and I'm sure we're going to be following up with you again in the future. Thanks again for your time.
My pleasure. Good day to you.
All right, folks, that is Sydney Armani. Really appreciate it. The founder of the AI World Fund. Be sure to check that out. Like I said, AI is going to change and change quickly here. We are going to do our best to stay ahead of the curve. I will try and bring you as many people connected to that as possible. So want to thank Sydney for taking time out of the day and joining us directly from an event. I'm still able to get by some of the technology issues there. So really, really great stuff there. Okay, let's see. I've got all of the news done. We already got street tweets done. We just had a great interview with Sydney Armani there. We're 13 minutes ahead of the hour. We're in good shape. We've got plenty of time here. So you know what that means, folks? Let's dive in. Where's my, here we go. Let's dive in and let's take a look at this Ondas report. All right, let's do it here. So I'm just going to do it right off the headlines here first, but then I would like to actually use an AI tool to help me with some of this. Ondas sees Q1 sales of 50.122 million, and that beat the estimate of 39.358 million. Okay, we're going to start right there because one of the things that I have been saying about this, especially from like the turnaround that Ondas has been doing, is that the PRs are great. The vision is great. We thank Eric for coming on here and laying out his vision, answering questions, including the tough ones about capital raises, which you folks have been, watching or seeing multiple of. They're doing all of these things, and it looks great, but it's really time to start seeing some of that in the results. PRs are great, results are better. Lo and behold, that's exactly what we're getting. So first things first, this tells me that the turnaround, the plan, the thesis here, it is working. It is intact. So sometimes you folks will come on here. Ondas will put out a PR. It will trade up and then it will trade down, and in some cases even go red. Reports like this make it so I'm much less worried about that. That's just trading action. As long as the thesis is moving forward here, as long as it's not just pie in the sky, as long as there are actually results on the back of some of this, that's going to determine if things are working. And that appears to be the case here. Ondas sees fiscal year 2026 sales $390 million. That was versus the estimate of $377 million. So that is higher here too. And if we look at the earnings here, they're starting to surprise on revenue to the upside. And then what do we have here? This is what I really wanted to see. Revenue growth year over year. From the last 4 quarters for Ondas, 579%, 554%, 581%, and 629%. This is exactly the type of stuff that we want to see. Now, Zach, you had said earlier that they announced another record quarter. That's sure what it looks like here from the outset. Okay, here we go. So, and again, I'm just going through some of the contents from the actual earnings report here itself. Q1 2026 revenue of $50.1 million represents a more than tenfold increase from Q1 2025, and a 66% quarter over quarter, exceeds the high of the company's guidance by 25%. That's good. Just in case you were wondering. Raising full year 2026 revenue target to at least $390 million, representing approximately a 670% year over year increase, driven by organic growth. This is exactly what we were hoping to see. This should be good. This should help take us to the next stage here. I will have the AI kind of help me go, boy, there's a lot of stuff in here. There's no way I'm going to be able to read all of this with you folks here. I'm going to have to do some of this on my own, but this is great. Let's take a look at the chart. Stock's up 15% here. I know it's been on kind of a pullback trend here recently. This is where we're at. So we're currently at 1016. This is great. Oh man, let's see where we close here today. So first of all, in the downtrend, or in the kind of the weakness that we've seen here recently, we've actually done a good job maintaining above the trend line, and we never actually touched the 200-day yet. So that was pretty good. We stayed above that. Now with today's action, we've popped above the 50, we've popped above the 20, and it looks like we're about to challenge both the volume point of control and the 100-day moving average. So as far as key levels go here for the stock here today, I absolutely want to see the stock close above 1041. That would be a best case scenario. If this thing closes above 1041, I think our next target here, and that's probably going to be the next day or two here, our next target is probably 12 and a half. Okay, so I'm thinking that if we can get above that 1041, that's going to be one of your key levels here. Also, I'm going to say that downside levels, we really want to hold this pop, right? So we want to hold that 20-day. That's at 994. What's interesting about this, I noted this because I had this on the screen when the earnings report came out. It basically traded right up to that spot, found some resistance, consolidated a little bit, and then popped through it. So without a doubt, the round 10 number, that's going to be a key level. The 50 days at 988, the 20 days at 994, they're basically stacked on top of that right there. So really, really good stuff. And again, I would love then, once this happens, I'd love for this trend line to get taken out. That puts the all-time highs back in play here. That would be exactly what we need here. So really good stuff. You know, one of the other things I wanted to do, let's check on some of the other drone names. I know our cat sold off yesterday on the news of an offering, right? So here's the RCAT stock. This came in. Looks like this is higher by about 1.8%. I don't know if that's just a dead cat bounce or sympathy from the report here. Unusual Machines, they are going to report after the market closes today. They're actually up here in the pre-market slightly by 3% on the back of that. And this chart here, kind of a slow, gradual uptrend, and we're at the lower end of the range. So part of me wonders if this can really get going here. I see a key level here on UMAC at 1521. We're at 1545 here in the pre-market, so that looks pretty good also. AVEX, I know this is one of the recent drone names. This actually started bouncing recently. This about flat here, so not really moving on this report. And let's also check Swarmer real quick, SWMR. That's also basically flat here after having a pretty nice day yesterday. So we'll see if these can get above the 20. Okay, so this is good. Drone theme, at least early on here, is good. We'll see if this holds into the regular session and then, of course, through the regular session here today. But giddy up. And for all of you Ondas holders, there you go. Congrats. Herman says, I just got in now on Ondas. Okay, well, I hope that you have a long-term view. One of the things that we've seen quite a bit with Ondas is that it will pop and then it will drop. So just make sure that you're not taking unnecessary losses here. I will say, just from kind of looking at this, let me actually go back to the Ondas chart. If you're trading this, if you're short-term trading this, like Izzy, looking at you, I know that you trade this a lot when it has movement like this, and you do quite well with it. Here's one of the things I'm seeing. It's not the greatest setup, but there is a fair value gap right in here. All right, so this is a 5-minute intraday chart. Let me put the VWAP on here so we can see. Okay, your VWAP is at 995, just below that round 10 number, and the fair value gap takes us basically almost up to that spot, 996. So if Ondas comes back into this area, maybe even holds that VWAP there, this might be a decent entry spot for a short-term trade. The way I'm handling this is long-term for me. This is actually a trailer piece of my long-term investment. My intention here is to hold at least 1,000 shares forever at this point, and I will trim a remainder around that as this continues to go up. I really want to see 12 and 15 next, and then we'll think about trimming. But so far, so good here on Ondas. Izzy here saying, wait for a pullback and then buy. And indeed, Izzy, that is 100% correct. If you're going to hold this long-term, you're better off waiting for the days in which it sells off, which we know will happen, right? We know sell-offs are going to happen here. If you wait for those days, you'll end up getting a better price. But again, the big story here, they reported earnings. We're starting to see some of this turnaround in the actual results itself. And that is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Okay. Let's see, where are we at? So we are expecting 13 in just a handful of minutes here. Let me know if there's anything else that you folks want to take a look at before we keep moving forward here. Did I miss anything in the chat? Great interview. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you very much. And thank you, producer, for posting his email. I was wondering if you were going to do that while he was giving it out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Some more news. I guess we can cover this here real quick. Kathy saying Mark Wayne Mullen made a large purchase of UNH in March. He's up 34% on the trade. Let's actually take a look at UNH. That chart was looking constructive indeed, and it actually is continued. Okay, so I think the last time we looked at this and spent any time on it, it was about 370, 380, because one of the things that we had talked about is that it sure looks like this is going to make a move towards 400, and indeed that's the case. We have 402.44 marked off as a key level here. This actually goes all the way, or this was a trend line, I beg your pardon, and this originated back in 2023. That sure looks like the next area to test here, along with the 500-day at about 424.5. This has been great. We're actually in a low volume node, so I think we probably expect some more significant resistance up towards 450. I think if we can capture this and move above, what do I have here? Yeah, about 420. I think 420 next and then 450 after that for UNH. This thing's been rocking. This thing has been rocking. Kathy, are you in this long term? Can't remember. Okay. Selena, long-term hold from 163 on Ondas. Let's go. That's what I want to hear. Let's go. Okay, and then let's see, what else were you looking? Poet. was on there. Let me take a look at Poet here real quick. All right, Poet Technology shares are trading higher if the company announced it entered into a supply agreement with Lumilens to establish a strategic joint development and commercial technology partnership to advance a new class of wafer-level photonic integration for frontier AI infrastructure. So the photonics theme in AI, the photonics sub-theme in the AI theme has been absolutely great. This is a 5-minute chart. This stock is literally breaking out as we speak right now. Poet looks good here today. And by the way, the fair value gap, there was one here too. You guessed it. It was right here. So again, stock came back into the top end of the fair value gap, didn't even quite reach the VWAP, and then took off, set some new highs. We'll see if Poet can get running here. What was the short interest on this? Was this one of the high ones? No, not really. 9.62%. That's a healthy amount. One day to cover, not high on either metric on that. Let's see. So here's some more information about that. Lumilens places a $50 million engine purchase order and receives warrants to purchase up to 22.9 million shares of Poet. And let's see what that is. Where are you? Here we go. 22.9 million shares. The warrant is exercisable over 9 years with an exercise price of $8.25 per share. So that seems like a pretty good deal. Immediately exercisable 2.29 million shares of that. I'll tell you what, this Poet looks good. What did you ask anything else in that? Poet? No, you just said Poet. Thanks. I'll tell you what, this one actually looks pretty good. This has been good since it started moving. As a Canadian company, chart looks pretty good. Move here today looks good. Nice little fair value gap up there. So Poet, giddy up. Don't have any of this, but giddy up. This one looks pretty good. All right, folks, let's go ahead and finish getting you prepared for the open here. It is pre-market pulse time, which also means it's 13 time. Good morning, buddy. How you doing?
Well, you tell me. Yesterday I was getting some requests for a little bit of 13 magic for ONDS.
Good.
Here we are. Cast 13 spells. Took all night, but here we are.
Okay, that's awesome. You cast 13. I was wondering. I had said for all of the folks that don't know what I'm saying, I had asked 13 if he could do whatever rain dance or magic that he does to make stocks do exactly what he thinks. And I was saying, hey, we got the Ondas earnings tomorrow. Why don't we focus some of our energy on Ondas? So 13, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate that. I know the chat appreciates it too.
Hey, no problem. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful morning. Interesting developments happening here with some of these names. Some of these ones we've been trading the past couple of weeks coming back too.
Let's dive right in then. Let's waste no time here. All right. What do you have on your list? Maybe we should start with those, and then I can back down any of the other ones we haven't done yet.
I've got Snail. I've got Yoov, YOOV, and DXF I also looked at. I also noticed that you were looking at Poet. I think that ties in with our discussion yesterday regarding silicon photonics.
Yeah, it absolutely does. They've got a new PR about that here today. It actually looks really strong. It looks like it wants to keep trading higher. It's been great. Kathy here says, Poet, I purchased it minutes before the drop and have been holding at a loss. I will trim out of it today, I think. You know what? That deserves a register ring. Way to go on being patient on the bag and then turn it into a gain. That is what makes a good trader, Kathy. And that is not easy to do. Way to go. For doing that. Okay, let's start here with Snail. The company's name is literally Snail. The ticker is SNAL, so I guess it's Snall. This thing was 50 cents yesterday, popped in the after hours, and then ran again here today. And there was obviously news that's driving this here. It had earnings last night, 6-cent earnings beat the 21-cent loss estimate, and sales came in nearly 10 million above the estimate, and the estimate was 18 million. So it was a significant a significant amount there. And then also this morning, we got a PR here. Snail Games USA explores partnership in one of gaming's largest markets with Gamescom LATAM attendance. This is going to be a Latin America gaming conference, one I'm not familiar with. But it looks like it's going to deepen its engagement and explore partnerships there. That should be good on the back of an already good earnings report. So I'm no surprise that this is trading up. This is our 100% runner. 11.28% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. So it's got some short interest, but it's not high on either metric. The float here is 13.5 million. On average, it trades 16 million. It's traded 115 million here today. 13, I can't wait. What do you think here on Snail?
Yeah, so as you pointed out, big earnings beat, really smashed expectations there. And they also are looking to expand into Latin America with gaming, particularly Brazil, which there's a lot of growing gaming community there. The company does have pretty good revenue. This is actually the publisher of the video game Ark Survival. It's you're familiar with it.
I'm familiar with the game, but I've never played it. But now, okay, that's good stuff.
This. They have other games that they also publish, but that's their most popular title. They do have some pretty decent revenue. It looks like they're before this report they were approaching profitability, so this is a positive report for them. As far as the chart goes, I'm a little concerned about the price action that it's trading up into. We could be in a ascending wedge right now, which would be concerning because that's typically bearish. It indicates that if we do fall out of this wedge, we could start the downtrend that follows with it. So if that's the case, we're going to want to watch for VWAP and the 135 area for support. If we do end up coming down, hopefully we won't fall too much further than that, but not going to hold my breath for it. Resistance for now does appear to be at 160. If you want to try and draw the wedge yourself, you can do the top end by drawing the highs of the after hours pop through the pre-market highs of 159. That's going to give you your top end. The bottom end, it's really going to depend on how you want to draw it, but there's going to be a trend line on the underside that you can draw in a various number of ways, and it all results in a rising wedge. So for my drawing, we're starting to fall out of the wedge now. If we do continue lower, got to watch for that VWAP. I think that's going to be where the support's going to have to come from.
Okay, I got this almost exact because we are just about to fall out of the wedge right now. So I think this drawing will suffice there. SNAL. Good stuff on that breakdown there. Good stuff on that. Okay, next here is You've. Mm-hmm. Right? Did I get that right? Yeah, Concord International. Ticker is YOOV. Sorry, I don't know how to necessarily spell you. That's just kind of what it looks like here. This, by the way, is a Singapore company. We've seen several of these run recently, so keep that under your hat. This did pop up towards 180. It's come back in beneath the VWAP and has been unable to take that out. But we have fresh news here today. Concord International Group secures a multi-year contract worth over $10 million US for integrated security solutions in Singapore. So it is contract news, $10 million or more than $10 million contract. The market cap of the company is $157 million and doesn't look like it's got a lot of revenue here, or at least on that main.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Ryan? Am I still here, or is it me? Oh, okay. It must be me then. What is? Oh no, Ryan has a situation with his internet. Okay, well then, in that case, let me see what I can do over here on my end. Oh, there he goes. Let me see if I can share my screen real quick here. I might have to get some permission. Nope, I don't. All right, there we are. Let's close that. So here we are looking at you. I don't even remember where he ended up leaving off at, but I will just cover this in the way that I prepared for. So this company received multi-year contracts for integrated security solutions in Singapore. They're worth over 10 million. That's the news that's causing it to go here today. The company does have 206 million shares in the float, so much heavier than the ones that we're used to trading here. Anyway, in the the small movers anyway. So this one may have a little bit of trouble with upside, being that it's a heavier float. The company does have some revenue. It's not yet profitable. Didn't see a whole lot of price or news prior to this, or prior to April. So I'm wondering if this was some kind of uplisting or a change as to why we have no news data prior to that. As far as the chart goes, VWAP for now looks like resistance. Let me go to a chart here and turn on some of these. There's VWAP, and here's the exponential ones. We'll turn those off, and here is a 5-minute chart. All right. Bear with me while I scoot all this in. So VWAP is the current resistance. You can see it right there, indicated by this purple line. We've fallen underneath VWAP, trying to recapture it right now. For support, I have a 120 and the 200 EMA. That's going to be down here, and then the 200 EMA is just beneath it. So this area is where I'd be looking for support if we lose this 130 level. I'm not really leaning on 130. At least I wasn't when I was looking at this. We were much closer to looking like we were going to lose 130 than this recovery that we're getting here. So maybe 130 could also be a support area, but I'd be looking down here for support, because I don't know how great this is going to be. So that's UV. Go to the next one, which is DXF. That's ESON. This one didn't really see what the news was that was it was moving on. I was running out of time as soon as this finishes doing its thing. I was running out of time and didn't have really the time to go through the Form 13F. And T and or any of the other news that it was getting earlier. So I'm not exactly sure what's driving this up, but not the greatest price action since we've since that first impulse that took us up to 240. It's since been leaking. The company does. There we go. This company does have some revenue. It's not profitable. It needs cash. I don't think it's got a whole lot. There's 3.3 million there. So company does need some cash. They're going to have to raise it at some point. Not sure when that's going to be. Float is 3 million. So prime for share dilution if they need to raise it. That's what I would be expecting with from DXF. So there may be a bounce coming. I'm not going to lean too heavily on this one. It's another Singapore. Or I'm sorry, this is a Hong Kong company. Not gonna say it's gonna do all the same things that TDIC was doing. Although, just keep this on your watch list for today, because some of these names that we look at, they tend to have these weird explosive moves later on in the day. So if you're still trading during that time, maybe just keep this on your radar, and if it turns back up, it could provide a trade. As far as where the current levels are, I have for resistance and support. I would lean on the 65 EMA and then the VWAP as resistance, 200 EMA as support. They had earnings in DXF. Is that what this was? Because I didn't see any earnings here. Okay, well, I must not be getting that information. All right, what do you guys want to look at here? Because that's what I had on my list. I will also say that this company that we were trading previously is also having a pretty good day. This is Robo AI. Didn't catch the news, so we'll catch it together. Looks like it launched NeuroStream on its technology platform. So that's what's causing this to go. This is one that we traded, I think, last week. And if I go to the chart here, maybe we can find something interesting for us. So we have the 65 EMA approaching the VWAP. The closer that gets, I saw Ryan come back. The closer that gets, the more likely we are to see the price push up back up through 450. So something to watch for here with AAOI. And you know what? Yeah. Okay. So that's current. That's an accurate read. If we start to look like we're losing steam up around 450 and we come back down towards the VWAP, we may end up coming underneath the 65 EMA and finding this area here as support before we potentially head lower. Don't know what to expect with this one, but so far the news looks pretty good. So keep it on your radar for a trade. This one and also AEHL, we also previously traded, and this one's up 49% today, although looks like we do have a bit of a double top there. And there's Ryan. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to him.
Well, I don't have my screen shared yet. Here's what's going on, folks, just so you understand. So first of all, my connection might be spotty. My video might also be spotty. I'm on my mobile hotspot. Comcast is doing work in my area and cut my internet connection here today. They at least told me about it ahead of time. So I'm doing the best I can. I just wanted to get that interview done. As soon as the interview was done, I felt like a piano was lifted off my back, just because I didn't want it to cut out during the interview. Let me see if I can share here. Keep your screen share up, 13, just in case mine drops. So if I try to use too many network resources here, but I will absolutely try to go with mine. So please forgive me during the drop off there. Where did we leave off?
Well, I think you were talking about Uve. I covered that one, moved into DXF, covered that one. And then I also pointed out how some previous movers that we were looking at from past days, AIIO and AEHL have also been providing a nice move today, this morning. AHL up 50%, AAOI up 66%. So just a couple of other movers to keep on our radar. If some of the ones we were looking at here and digging deeper into don't work out, this is something else we could trade.
Okay, remember that's AIIO, by the way.
Yeah, not AAOI.
Yeah, that would
because these are so easy to remember.
I'm sure we're gonna mess that up. Just we're PSA right now. It's AIIO. Okay. So I guess what's next?
Yeah, stickers from the chat. MobX.
MobX, okay. That actually got mentioned earlier today too. Yep. So
is FTNT. We can look at that one too.
Oh my God, MobX. This is absolutely ripping right now. Let's see what the news is on this one. I'll be out. Shout out Verizon Internet for my phone producing all my internet. This is going right now.
You're tethered to your phone?
I'm tethered to my phone for everything. And it looks like
I do that too. Yeah, it works.
Yeah. Shout out Verizon. Big Red getting it done. Okay. Mobix Labs to acquire U.S. rare earth and critical minerals company powering defense and national security. That is good. Now, the terms are undisclosed, but that's good PR here. I guess I'm not surprised this stock is ripping 70+%. Let me see what the short interest is. So we clicked on short interest tab the last time that I dropped here. 15.11% of the float is shorted, 2.4 days to cover. It's elevated, but it's not crazy there. Float's 9.2 million. We're already way over the average volume here. So Mobax looks like it's running into some resistance there at 3.
Yeah, and it may go a little bit higher to 3. Probably 325, 330, because you have the 65 EMA on the daily chart up at 326. So if we move past 3, that would be the next area I'd be keeping an eye on there. That's also where the price kind of ran up to in February. Let's see, the high was 337 that day. So just up in that 330s, it appears like that's a pretty big resistance area. And you also have the 65 EMA there. So I'd be keeping an eye on that if we manage to get through 3.
Thank you, Fake Beat. Billy here saying the top of the 4-hour chart is 309. So that might be another area here. How many of you folks are trading MobX? Kenneth, are you on this? Kathy, are you on this? Lion, good morning. I think I missed you throughout that whole dropping nonsense that went on here. Dr. Manred, good morning. Okay. All right, let me know if you're trading at MobX. What's next? What do we got next here?
There was FTNT, and then we were also being asked to look at BTM.
Okay, so let's do FTNT. That's Fortinet. That's cybersecurity. We just had Sydney Armani on. Said this might be the next big theme, AI related. He likes healthcare. He likes cybersecurity. From that interview here, here's what Fortinet looks like. I don't think there's any news here. This is what the daily chart looks like. Oh boy. So Fortinet, we had another potential island here. It wasn't great because it wasn't like a totally a new area, but the stock never pulled back. So it just kept rolling. Now it sure looks like, and we did set a new high here. So this is actually in breakout mode. Fortinet. We didn't have any news on this, did we? Let me check.
There's also a trend line that you can see on the daily chart. If you look at if you take the highs from 2021 and draw it through the highs of 2025, that gives us a bit of a target to 130 or the 130s. You have both the peaks right there.
This is what you were talking about, right? Trendline wise, 130, yeah.
Yeah, yep. That looks like we could extend up to that trend line. We've seen this happen plenty of times with other names, and they were already overbought.
We sure have. We sure have. Okay, Fortinet looking pretty good. Got the blessing here this morning from our guest as well. What was the other one that you had there?
The other stock was BTM.
BTM, Bravo Tango Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin deposit. Oh, boy, this daily chart, not impressive.
No, it looks like more like a withdrawal. Actually, this is depot, not deposit, but yeah.
Well, at least it led to a pretty good one-liner there. This looks more like a withdrawal. Oh, 13. Okay. Stock is up 6% here today. That's all relative given the recent move here. Let's see if we had a news on this.
This thing's got no volume.
Yeah, no volume.
48,000 shares traded.
Preliminary revenue decreased 49%. No wonder the chart looked like that. Stock was down 43% yesterday. So maybe a dead cat bounce here. Is that what we're thinking?
Maybe we're coming down to the well, we were almost down at the all-time lows there, which I think is just underneath $2. So yeah, we could be seeing a dead cat bounce, but I don't know that we're necessarily going to recover above 425 or 5. I think that would be the big resistance area I'd be watching for with the reversal. But yeah, like you said, this chart doesn't look great. It seems like this could still end up going lower.
Okay.
Uh-oh, did we lose Brian? Oh no, you're just
no, I'm still here, right?
There. Yeah, you're still here. You're just kind of lagging, like you were saying.
All right, 13. I think then what we might have to do here, first of all, I apologize if I interrupt you. That's probably just because of the whole internet thing. We might just have to kind of deal with that, and I might have to have you lead a little bit more today, if that's all right, just because of this. But in the meantime, we're going to keep rolling through here. What should we do next?
Yeah. What is? I think it was your chart. Producer was talking about. But anyway, what do you guys want to look at here? Looks like we have requests for MUD, which is the Micron ETF, the bear ETF. We also have Jay Rice mentioning GDYN as a small cap name, and they do AI teaching. It's a Google customer.
And then it also looks like QUCY, Quantum Cyber. Now let's see if this is actually a quantum company. Diversified platform at the intersection of quantum computing and cybersecurity. Yes, as a matter of fact, yes, that looks topical right now. Stock's up 40%.
Yeah, this is MUD right here. This is the Micron bear ETF. So this is a 5-minute chart. The daily looks like this. It's been getting pounded because Micron's been on a massive move up. Now, is this actually going to be the reversal we're looking for, or is it going to be more of this and then Micron continues higher? I would think this is going to be a better trade once we have a clear indication that Micron's coming back in. So same with Rigetti and RGTZ. I don't follow RGTZ. I follow Rigetti, and I'm looking for different levels on there to get hit so that I can start taking that RGTZ trade. So when it comes to Micron, I would do the same thing. Watch Micron, watch when that starts to indicate that the price is coming back in, has some confirmation of that. Then MUD becomes a really good trade. And that's when you're going to have a greater chance of success trading this. This is right now trying, if you're still trying to do this and enter, and if you've been trying to do that, you're just trying to catch a falling knife.
Yeah, absolutely, 13. And actually, really quick, you might want to take a look at the Micron Daily. I think one of the reasons people are hypothesizing that maybe this might make good MUD entry, Micron is currently putting in what looks like a double top, but I guess we'll know today if this 817, 818 area is actually a top, and we'll see if it comes back in. I would have first target there maybe 730 if it really pulls back. I would say that that's possible.
There does look like there's
be right back, 13. Be right back in a second.
Okay, there's a number of dojis occurring up here on the daily chart, but this isn't anything new that we haven't seen before. We had dojis start to form here, and then the next day we shot up even higher. Same thing here, same thing here. So this is why I'm kind of putting out there. Let's get a solid indication that we are turning around here, and not just trapping a whole bunch of bears. So that's just kind of how I would approach this. It's going to be completely up to you if you want to start taking the long position in mud for Micron to come in. Anyway, GDYN, that's the other one we wanted to look at. How much time do we have? 7 minutes? Okay. This is Grid Dynamic Holdings. This is what the daily chart looks like. So it has been kind of hammered down a little bit here. Looks like it had a pretty good start to 2025, and then all this. What is and this is one that Jay Rice is bringing up. This is in the AI space. They teach AI, a customer of Google. Looks like they just had earnings at the end of April. They did not guide above the estimates, and looks like they just barely beat on earnings. So nothing in their earnings that looks like really got the price action to turn around. Let's go back to a chart and see what that reaction was on the 30th. So that's going to be about here. So there's the 30th. They reported that day. This is the result of the next day. And we really didn't get going until we finally moved over the 50-day SMA. Now we're back testing that as support. The interesting part about this is that now that we're back testing this SMA, this 50-day SMA as support after breaking out of it, we're going to want to see this hold. If we get this to hold here, and it looks like this is going to start to turn around, the 200-day SMA is going to be a big target, as is, I would say, the 750 area where this support is. So that's this whole support here, that's now resistance for the price action. That would be the next thing I'd be watching for, is if we can move up and away from these two moving averages down here where we're getting support and test this resistance up here that was previously support. That is GDYN.
Okay, good breakdown there. How do I sound, 13? Am I still all right?
You sound just fine.
Okay, perfect. So it might just be my video streaming. So I really appreciate you sharing the chart here today, 13.
Sure.
That might be really the only thing that gets affected here. Kathy with a really good question. Any idea when Cerberus, CBRS, starts trading today? I have not seen any indication on that.
My guess would probably be somewhere around 1, but that's a guess. I have no idea when they're going to trade. I'm just kind of going by when IPOs have, typically start to trade. And it's usually somewhere like either around 11 or 1 that I've noticed.
Yeah, and the other thing is I've also noticed that some of these like bigger ones that have more hype around them, sometimes they actually go off a little bit later in the morning or even in the afternoon, as you're outlining here, 13. So that 1 p.m. prediction sounds pretty good to me. Looking at the news feed here for CBRS, sometimes as we get closer to actually launching, they will give us an estimated time. I don't have that right now here in the news feed, but if that comes back, I'll let you know. But so far, we don't have any indication on the time.
I'm just looking at some of these other names that these other tickers that are being thrown in the chat. MNTN, which is, it's MNTN Inc., was thrown out there. Didn't see if there's any news. It doesn't look like there is today, but it looks like they had a catalyst for yesterday. There was a news conference that they were participating in. Don't know how that went. We can check to see what the price action was like. Looks like it didn't really have an impact. Because here's this is yesterday's price action. We've come down to a double bottom. Looks like today we're reversing and coming up to 805, which is about here. So maybe we're double bottoming in MNTN, but I wouldn't call that a guarantee. There's a lot of things that we still need to see happen in order to feel comfortable that we've double bottomed. One thing I would want to watch for is getting past this area of support, which is going to be in about the 830s, right about here, because there's a double bottom right in this area. That's about what 825 looks like, 825 to 830. That area we need to get past here, and if we do, it looks like we are going to. I would say we're on track to establish a double bottom from the February low and the most recent low from yesterday. So that's what I would be watching for here in MNTN.
Okay, good stuff there. An MNTN, we're less than 2 minutes till we open.
Okay, what should I move on to? Because it's going to be a little tough going between both my broker and the
yeah. No, here. This is what we'll try. Let's try my screen here.
Okay.
Apparently, per the producer, when I switch tickers, the image is a little bit fuzzy, but then it actually like catches up. Okay. G-Cord, I'm sorry that my audio is clipping. There's nothing I'm going to be able to do for that, but I'll do my best because this screen 13 is a really good view of the scanner of what's moving, and I can pretty easily click between these. So yeah. I'll try and do this.
Yeah, pay no attention to the screen in the upper right corner unless it gets brought into the larger view.
we're gonna keep it there so we can very quickly switch.
Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to go back to some of the other movers we were looking at here so far. SNAL kind of going sideways. It's out of the wedge now, but it hasn't broken down. It's trying to get some support, but we'll see what we end up getting here out of the open, which is going to be in 30 seconds. It looks like it's trying to push up out of the open, so we may get a brief pop out of the gate here, but it's not one I'd buy. It's not one I would buy at all. Same thing with UV. This looks like it's trying to get through its VWAP as we approach the open. DXF may be coming down to the 200 EMA as we approach the open. MOBX, this popped up to 322 and is backed off as we approach the open. And here we go.
Here we go.
All right. What is making the move first here? SNAL, not really pushing higher, looking a little weak, but we'll see what we get there with that one. It hasn't broken down just yet. UV also trying to do the same thing, trying to push up through the VWAP. That one's starting to go here. A little bit more volume. Maybe this will work out. Got resistance up at after VWAP, you have 165, and then I would say 180 to 190. Still getting resistance from VWAP on YOOV. DXF opened and went lower, closer to the 200 EMA now. MOBX, this one is popping out of the gate, but hasn't hit that 322 high that it printed just before the open.
That 309 spot seems to be stopping it there. You've down into a fair value gap area, but it actually looks like it might halt here at 128. Not halted yet, but it might halt here.
Jay, that TDIC move yesterday, I was texting Ryan about that, and that was a hilarious conversation. But
hilarious.
But it was kind of wild because a lot of the things that I was saying that we were joking about ended up happening. Because one of the first things I said to him was, "This is gonna be watch this thing go to 16 to 18," and then it went to 18 like 62 or something like that. And I was like, okay, well here's what's next. It's probably going to go to 20 and then 25 and then 30 and then it did all that. And I said, okay, well here's the case for after hours: 35, 45, and 65. We went to 35. It's just it was wild. I didn't want to get in front of that thing though. It's one of those potential to rip your face off kinds of stocks, and it was a pretty good day from yesterday. I didn't want to ruin that. You've halted to the downside now, so that VWAP rejection, which was the resistance I had been talking about all morning, now coming into play here in a big way, coming down to the 200 and the 65 EMAs on the 5-minute once we get out of the halt. Snail also lower down to the VWAP, but getting support. Sorry, go ahead.
It's quite all right. SPY actually trading up. So that I know weakened a little bit from the 7 145 high. This is actually now spiking. FYI, with my shoddy internet here, I won't be executing new trades until that gets fixed, but I'll try and keep my head on a swivel for you guys. Ondas, 1051. Let's go, Ondas.
At least you can, put out limit orders if you're looking to take any gains on that. But I don't think.
Yeah. That I can definitely do that. But in terms of like scalping, day trading, and all of that, I'll probably just not poke the dragon.
Yeah.
Right.
Snail's trying to push back up here. Now, we may get a back test of the underside of this wedge. So that's one thing that could happen here. If we get that, we're going to see the price come back up towards 155, maybe even 160, where the high of the pre-market was. So that's what we could end up getting here with SNAL. Looks like that's starting to happen here, but don't know if we're going to get a pass to that 160 area. Poet is flying.
And Weebit Nano. This was thinking about it's from yesterday. The OTC Australia stock, right? Yeah. This popping again here. There you go, thinking about it.
Fantastic.
Poet is flying. That's the one that you just mentioned.
Flying
Said
Poet.
That looked good earlier. Indeed, higher it goes.
This one looks like it may have broken out of. Did I have you draw a trend line with this one?
On Poet?
Oh, yeah.
Let
me go to a different time frame because there might be.
I might have drawn this on another chart because this rings a bell.
Well, I think the more important takeaway with Poet right now is that we're approaching all-time highs. If you go look at a weekly chart like I am here, or a monthly, you can see that we're $20 is a big spot, and we're coming up to it right now, so we could see some resistance there. But the all-time highs aren't there. It's actually up at 26. So we could see this continue to climb if we're going to hit those all-time highs again. 25, 26 looks like the direction we're headed here. I don't know if we'll get that today. We might eventually. All right, so SNAL got up to 150. Was it 150? Yeah, 150 before we turned around here and lost VWAP. So not a complete back test of the trend line, but more or less what we were expecting here, since this is still a bearish pattern.
A couple of funny comments here. First one here from Brian says, this market is like a freight train and bears are the penny that someone put on the track. I used to do that when I was a kid, and then some adult told me that I could possibly derail the train, and I obviously got scared and stopped doing that. Did anyone else tell you that? Just out of curiosity. Next comment here, Wiss says, it feels like so many movers, retail doesn't know where to put their money. One of the things that we talked about yesterday is that the entire market move seems to be retail driven. So as far as the comment about not knowing where to put their money, they have almost been chasing the market higher here as institutional investing has really kind of slowed down. And by the way, Wiss, that Braves team, they're a pretty good team, it turns out. So congratulations again. I did hear, though, the announcers were talking that the Braves serve a Chicago deep dish fry thing at Truist Park. You'll have to tell me how that is. 13, sorry, I know you had something serious to get in there.
Yeah, MobX trying to push into new highs.
Got that on screen here. MobX, indeed, it did go through that 309.
Yeah, So 341 current high print. It's trying to push higher right now, getting a little bit of that. We'll see what happens at 341. You've opened, going lower, coming down to those two EMAs I mentioned. And I don't know if we'll get, nope, we're going right through them. So you've more or less the expectation here happening with that resistance. Same thing with Snail. This thing coming in, 65 EMA looks to be in sight. That is under the support area I gave earlier. So if we don't hold up here, then the next support area beneath the 65 EMA I have down at 110.
Frozen King.
There goes MOBX.
Okay, MOBX register ring. Frozen King 10 points on Broadcom register ring. MobX. This is the day trader of the day so far.
Yep. We're going to go into a halt, and there it is. I'm glad I said something because, man, that happened real fast. All right, now that one's halted and we've got you've halted, Here goes DXF. That one's coming down too. And SNAL still hasn't hit the 65 EMA. We could see a bounce there briefly, but I'm not leaning on the 65 EMA as a reversal point. Oh, hey, how about this? Also halted is TDIC, but to the downside.
I guess that shouldn't surprise anybody, right?
No, it's not surprising me at all. AEHL, I don't know if I talked about this one briefly because it was one of the ones that was moving here pretty well this morning. This has been in an uptrend over the past few days to the point where we actually drew a trend line. You still have it. Extend that trend line,
baby.
Extend that trend line. Look at the price action we got going here today. So I think that trend line is indicating. Now you have it the price underneath the trend line. I have the price coming down and getting support or looking for some support right now. We may end up coming through it. If that happens, the next support area that I have is going to be the what is this? The 200 EMA and just beneath that at $4.
AEHL, I just drew it through the wrong high. I've corrected it now. I've got the same thing that you do.
Okay, cool. So we'll see if that ends up being support. Otherwise, those levels I gave is where it's going.
AIIO, Bob's mentioning this. This is above VWAP here. This actually looks like this might try and go. I still think 485 is going to be your spot there. See if it gets back up there and goes through it. AMD is trying to bounce.
Be careful with AIIO. Yeah, be careful with I'm sorry, geez, hold on. AIIO. Be careful with that one. This we did have a drop right through VWAP, and this came down to the 65 EMA. We got a bounce, but this price needs to get above that 389 high, because if it doesn't, and we get this this weak looking candle here, like we're getting the long wick on the top, I think this still indicates that we could come back in underneath the 65 EMA. This looks a little bit bearish to me. Be careful with AIIO.
Okay, good stuff on AIIO. SPY looking like it's trying to break the pre-market highs of 745.44.
Red wire's going. Where we at? Yeah, back over 12. Actually, we hit a high of 1264. Looks like we're trying to get to the 1287 high that we had on that was what, Monday? Yes.
And did we talk about 13 being a level? It kind of looks like that on the daily chart here.
I don't remember what the time was when MOBX halted, but keep an eye on that for a 5-minute unhalt here. Lots of ONDS profit taking.
That is expected.
Yeah.
That is expected after the earnings report. And the stock has kind of been sideways. You finally got a pop here. You got a pop and a go here. I actually would expect profit taking on this. This is also why we said before, don't chase the green candles. Wait for it to do this, because we know it's going to do this. This doesn't change the fact that the earnings report was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Just waiting for that MOBX to halt. Shouldn't be too long now, and then see what this does next. Let me look at the daily chart of this and see what I can infer from this. 377. Man, this thing has really got an opportunity to turn around here. It looks there's a really big resistance area at about somewhere between 550 and 6. 6 really does stand out, and that's also just above the 50-week SMA. I do like 6 as a big resistance area, so I would say that 550 to 6 area is going to be where we could see some resistance, but that's only with once we get past 4. 4 is the next area where we've got big resistance. We get past 4, 550 to 6 is the next area that has real big resistance.
Warby Parker looks like that might make a run at 30. Marvell, this is actually higher here by about 4.25%. This actually looks like it might be trying to revisit the pre-market highs after a bit of profit taking.
You've open and lower, trying to find some support. MOBX open and higher, hitting 4 and finding that resistance, but pushing through it. went up to 412. Still dealing with that resistance. It is a tough spot. Now let's see if we can either get this candle to close above 4, or if this is going to the price is going to come back in underneath $4 and kind of consolidate underneath there before making another attempt to push through. So right now we got a seller walking this down underneath 4. Let's see what happens. This is going to end up repeating myself until we get the results of this. So now we're pushing up back above 4 again, but we'll probably come back beneath it and go back and forth until there's a direction chosen. MU flipped to green.
So the mud no good yet then.
Right. That's kind of the whole thing I was saying.
Yep.
We need to make sure we got that confirmation that Micron's really coming in. We don't want to have this trap the bears. Bear traps are nasty.
That's what I hear. I've never seen one, thankfully. Tell you what, market is continuing to push. More new highs, 745.63 on the SPY. You've got good breadth across the board. The only thing that's lagging breadth-wise is the Russell. And you could make the inference that that might be because of rates. But man, S&P futures really powerful candle there on the 15-minute.
MobX still dealing with this seller trying to lock the price down, but he's losing all his ammo. SNAL is getting support from the 65 EMA. Let's see if that can turn around there and try to recapture VWAP. You've also trying to get some support down at the $1 level. If this starts trading under $1, it's going to be a different animal entirely. FTNT also weak out of the gate, but trying to turn around here. And AIIO still getting support from the 65 EMA on the 5-minute.
Try refreshing Pro here real quick. Jay here saying NVIDIA is so big it's distorting all the indexes. Microsoft still can't catch a bid. Jay, do you have any thought that might change today when Cerberus actually IPOs?
Altered beast, Brian. Altered beast. Okay, so you've turning around, retesting the 200 and the 65 EMAs, getting some resistance there. Not able to push through it yet, but if it does manage to, you have resistance at 130. DXF also trying to recapture VWAP. This one trading very, very slowly, so not sure how great that's going to be. This looks like it could still go lower. SNAL, we did get some support from that 65 EMA. It is recapturing the VWAP and that 130 area, trying to push up to the next area of resistance, which is going to be at about 150. Let's see if it can come back up the bottom end of that wedge. MOBX, this coming back in here. Looks like there's some support down at the 340s. We'll see if it can turn around.
Ondas back above 10. AMD continuing to bounce. That thing's been straight up since the open. If anyone's on AMD for a day trade.
Snail had news, says Billy. Is that in addition to what we already covered here today? It doesn't look like it. It's still the same news about the LATAM attendance and their earnings the night, last night. So I don't think there's anything new here unless it's just not hitting our news feed. MobX trying to get that support from the 340s. U is halted to the upside now, so we may see this unhalt and print closer to VWAP. That's a possibility. Snail,
so you're saying that there are shenanigans going on in U. That's what it sounds like to me.
Gosh, it's just so unexpected. Snail Snail trying to, still push up through VWAP. It did get up there briefly, but the same candle is getting rejected right now, and it looks like it might come back down to test that 65 EMA again. One that we've talked about that I haven't mentioned this morning, but this was after we had DHS funding, Geo Group up slightly here. This has been steadily climbing ever since they had earnings and that DHS funding has passed. So this is one that's been doing pretty well and could continue to climb higher.
This thing had a great day yesterday.
Yeah, they had good earnings, new contracts. 25 looks like that's going to be the big resistance there. Actually, you know what? I have this. I have areas marked off for this one. Let me see where I've got this. 26. I'm sorry. 26 is the big resistance area that I'm watching for with this one. We are moving past the 20-month SMA, so that's another good sign. All right.
Lion says he's covering for one of his cooks. Just got in to do a trade. Lion is covering a shift, but coming back to the computer to make a trade or two. That's dedication. Hello, Tiny Pie.
All right. Some of these that were selling off earlier are trying to turn around here. I don't know if they're necessarily recovering.
Do we have any indication on which one's going to go after the show ends? Because that's what seems to happen every day. It's what we got in TDIC yesterday.
Well, yeah, TDIC has been kind of steadily going over the past several days. It just yesterday was the real big explosive move. I would probably, I don't know, because it really just depends on how these shape up over the next hour or so. Which one has the lowest float? Let's start there. Which one of the movers has the lowest float? Might not be you. That one's a little thick. Could be DXF.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
DXF. That one I think has the lowest float out of the ones we've looked at here today, and it is a Hong Kong company, as was TDIC. Maybe DXF puts in a move. No guarantee, but something to keep an eye on.
LNKS, this is a good mention. This is pushing higher now. Sorry, 13.
Snail may also do it too, but I wouldn't worry about that one until this gets maybe closer to like 110. There's if this loses a 65 EMA, there's support coming at 110, and then you're looking at maybe under $1 for the next support. So Mob X coming down to the VWAP. We'll see after this candle if it turns around.
StubHub looks like a possible gap and go here. Gapped higher on the back of its earnings. Morgan Stanley maintained equal weight. Moved the price target to 875. This is above it now.
All right. Keep an eye on Mob X here. It looks like this is trying to turn around. Wow, it is just deleting sellers on the way back up.
Market
take it out of his paycheck, Lion. Take it out of his paycheck.
Oh gosh, I can't wait till he tells that person that. The person's gonna be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, just bust out your phone, show him your broker. Be like, "See,
you did this.
That was you." All right, so Snail getting some support from that 65 EMA. You've unhalted, climbing back up. Maybe you've with their large float ends up being the mover. Keep an eye on all three.
This testing VWAP right now.
Testing VWAP. Yep. And DXF now starting to make a move. Hell, it might be all of them. I don't know, but just keep these on. Just keep an eye on them because it could be any of these that put in a move after we're done here.
You could also probably throw MobX and Poet in there just because.
Sure, absolutely.
Just keep the list. Yeah, just
why
cycle
not?
through them when you got nothing to do.
Why not just even put TDIC on there?
Might as well.
Just do it. Might as well. Just keep an eye on these movers. They may provide a trade. Just be careful with these. You don't want to get your face ripped off. AEOI finally putting in the down move that it looked like it was about to, because this was looking bearish. And we had that pop that kind of gave this a look of maybe a head and shoulders. Here we are coming down. The next support area, I would say, is probably going to be around 325 if it doesn't get support from the 350 area.
Navitas Semiconductor, good mentioning Libertas. This is moving. This is actually above what this was the after hours highs. What'd you have, 13? Sorry.
No, I was just mentioning what you just said.
Wolf Speed, is this continuing from yesterday? It looks like it's trying to re-engage. This didn't really continue. This set the high yesterday. It looks like it might try and test that again.
There's also this mention of linkers by Billy. That's LNKS.
Yep, WIS is on that too.
And this is up 62%. Just, looks like this is trying to just come off the bottom. It's kind of just made a home for itself down here at these all-time lows. And today we are getting a big reversal and recapture of the 20-day SMA. We're going to want to see it, the price hold above that. Regardless of what the price action is here today, we need to hold above that 20-day SMA. All right. SNAL trying to recover and get back up to that VWAP. Still waiting for an unhalt on UV. That might still have a little bit more time. DXF, this is back above VWAP now. FNT also coming back up. AIIO trying to get some support from the 350 area.
JD saying, hey guys, any thoughts on Ford after their cattle partnership and spinoff of the energy unit? I don't have any thoughts on that. Not one that I've been following here. I did notice that Morgan Stanley reiterated equal weight and maintained their price target. So it looks like they're coming out in defense here.
Jay,
I don't have any comment on that. Sorry.
Jay's been accumulating BlackBerry on any red days. So some of the information you've been reading about QNX and is this one of the big car to robot software names that you're building a position in, and if that's the case, are you looking at any others, or is this one the one that looks the best to you? Just kind of curious. I've got some BlackBerry as well. All right, Snail trying to make the move through VWAP now. Still waiting for an unhalt from UV. DXF above VWAP, but not moving a whole lot. MOBX down to its VWAP, getting support down here. Let's see if it can turn around. If we lose support, this could fall even further. So BlackBerry and TNX. It's good to know.
Poet, this came back into its VWAP. We'll see if it holds that. Actually, its VWAP is a little bit lower than 19 here. We'll see if it holds 19 first.
Oh, Tom, Redwire is one of my favorite space companies. They're pretty much like the picks and shovels of the space industry. They've got a lot of different things going on with space-based research and 3D printing, including biological 3D printing. They've got a lot of interesting things going on, and I think as the space industry continues to expand, they're going to continue to get more work. I think they also have contracts for the Golden Dome. There's a lot of things to like about Redwire. Would like to see let's see more profitability out of them, but I think that's coming in due time.
Sometimes that takes a while. That profitability ramp can take a while. I mean, we'll see if maybe this whole space theme, which seems to be on fire, speeds it up a little. By the way, MobX, this just coughed up its VWAP. So nice little run up to 425, but this thing's done nothing but selling since. VWAP provided very little support. We'll see if the 303.15 EMA catches MobX here, but this pulling back at the moment.
Yep, big reversal candle. When we had that 425 print, that was your indication. We were looking at maybe there could be some kind of support coming at VWAP. That isn't the case. Now we have this sideways price action that went from about 15 minutes before we opened into the open. That is going to be the current area of support that we're seeing. And if we lose that level, 265 looks to be the next support area. You've unhalted, popped above VWAP and sold, and now it's halted beneath VWAP.
Halted again. Snail here. This actually looks like this is trying to go. This through the VWAP, through the 15 EMA. This looks like it might try. What level do we have up here? 150. I got to say is next here for Snail.
That looks to be next. I would say if it climbs, if it continues to climb, you're looking at maybe 165 to 175 as resistance at this stage.
There we go.
AIIO also a little bit lower, but trying to find some support. Geo higher.
NBIS higher. 222. You remember buying that at 17? Oh, man. NBIS. What a move.
Now, I haven't read that, Tom, but that's an interesting piece of information there. But they do have a lot going on.
You know what? Let me test out my. I'm going to put your chart up here temporarily, 13. Let me. I know my internet's a little shoddy at the moment, but let me see if I can go through this Ondas report a little bit more since I've got the time now.
I just have BlackBerry up here on my chart, and one of the things that I've outlined and talked about frequently, and I've been waiting for a while. I have these orange circles here, and these indicate every time, in the past decade, where every time the price has a big move up through the 50-month SMA, which is this blue squiggly line here. Every time there's a move up through there, it tends to go on a run higher in the coming months. That happened back in 2017. It happened in 2000, but we all know the reason why for that, because it was meme stonking. And now we just had that happen here last month. So I am anticipating that we go on a bit of a run here with BlackBerry, since that's what's happened the previous times that this has had a big move up through the 50-month SMA. All right, so you guys are mentioning, Bob's mentioning Ford. You got ONDS. We covered that one. Velo Bingo. We'll look at Velo in a bit here. Let's look at Ford. Now, I'm assuming you don't mean the car company. You mean Ford Industries. Doesn't look like that's working. So you must mean F then. And certainly that's up 7% today. Let me go to a daily chart. So here we are coming up to the highs from February. Nice couple of days it's had. Where were these earnings? What was the news here on this? Looks like we've got a price target. This is all from yesterday. So they've got a price target from Morgan Stanley at 14. That's probably it. And you also have North American EV demand drops sharply, which is good news for Ford, since they're still very much an ICE vehicle manufacturer.
And really quickly, here's what has on Ondas for a read through on their earnings report. This report is bullish because it reduces two major investor concerns at once: growth visibility and balance sheet support. The guidance raise, backlog surge, and early EBITDA improvement at the product company level are the kind of signals that typically support a higher valuation multiple, even if the market may still worry about dilution, integration, and near-term losses. So they are doing. Obviously, execution is going to continue to be important here, especially since they are trying to make a bunch of acquisitions and integrate them into the technology stack that Eric told us about. So seems pretty good. I'll let you know if I come up with anything else on that. I really want to get the conference call transcript. That's next.
We're above that price target, so it wouldn't surprise me if we did see some sellers start to step in and take profit if that was their trade idea or their trade plan. But I could still see some price action going up as high as somewhere between 15 to 16 before we run into bigger resistance. Long term, this should hit 20.
1,260 INOD puts are bought. The 50 puts are bought with a July monthly expiry. Traders spent $123,000 on an INOD short via the 50 July puts. New interesting trade there for INOD after its huge move higher.
That huge move that took us up to that trend line, and we immediately backed off and went lower, and now we're trying to turn around so we can hit it again. If it hits the trend line again, you're looking at targets of like 115. And then we were also going to take a look at Velo 3D Systems, because that one is awesome. Okay. And
actually, you have a longer term chart, so I'm going to go yours. Sorry for interrupting you there.
Sure. So right now I have a daily chart on, but I'll go to a monthly in just a second here. So we did have this nice move off their earnings the day after their earnings that took us up over 20. It was expected that we would come back in looking for some support. Let's see if we do this here, draw that trend line. That might give us a bit of an, okay, well, that makes sense then. So looks like there's a bit of a trend support. We just used the highs from March 12th and April 24th. That gives us this current support that we've seen here today, though I still expect this could come back in some more. Longer term, when I look at the monthly chart, looks like there's a bit of a head and shoulders pattern here that has been developing. If that's the case, then once we do get a monthly close above 20, we're actually already shaping up to have the highest monthly close since January of last year. So we closed this at 1971, and that's been the highest close this entire time. And looks like we may finally get a close not only above 15, which has been, also this has been the highest close since then, but we also may have a shot at closing above 20. So I think that would be a nice break in that trend there.
Really quick here, 13. Sorry to interrupt, but we did have SMCI news while you're breaking down Velo. We can go back to that. Webcoin, nice shout out here in the chat. News here is that this is an unconfirmed rumor. SMCI Supermicro. There's a presidential stake rumor floating around out there. So it sounds, the rumor here is that President Trump buying a stake in SMCI. That is from the Squawk, by the way. Unconfirmed rumor.
That's really suspect.
Yeah.
The biggest, most well-known smuggler of NVIDIA chips to China is being eyed by the president while he's over in China. Interesting.
I want to, again, unconfirmed rumor. So it is popping SMCI, but I want what?
Okay. You've halted higher now. The large float stock, the mover that we were looking at, is the one that's recovering pretty well here. Snail looking weak, losing VWAP right now, but not completely out of the game just yet. MobX recapturing its VWAP. This looks like this is potentially turning around. DXF was looking like it was on the recovery for a moment there, ended up losing VWAP and is now at risk of heading lower. FTNT, this had a nice recovery, and this looks like it might even go higher than the pre-market. Moving through that pre-market consolidation now. Yeah, that might be the best way to go about it, Walker and Kathy. Sell the news event, buy the rumor, sell the news.
I'm with you on that, 13. That's what it feels like.
And I'm there with you too, Jay. I think that it doesn't make sense to me. Right, Buffalo, it doesn't make sense to me. So I would be very, very careful with that news. But if you want to trade it, buy the rumor, sell the news is the way I would look at it too. Okay. Looks like FTNT is still trying to make its way higher. AIIO, I wouldn't trust this move up. I feel like we're going to get a rejection here around the 65 EMA. The way that these head and shoulders patterns, we get this retest of the neckline, which is about where it's at right now. And then when that fails, it comes down even lower. So upon the rejection here of what I'm going to be, looking at the 65 EMA, I think this will take the price down to the 200 EMA. That's what I'd be watching for. Maybe it is, Tom. It might be the late day runner. It's I'm wondering if it is. I'm kind of skeptical that it isn't because it's got such a heavy float. I still think DXF could potentially be it, but it's like I've been saying, just keep all of them on your radar and just watch their price action. You'll notice when they start to set up as if they want to make a next move higher. That could be the indication for you. So I just suggest keep these on your radar if you're looking to trade these for later in the afternoon run.
Yeah, I was just saying the same thing. What do you think about that, 13?
Let me look at the SPY. Maybe if we see a print that's closer to 750. You might be right on right here. I think I would lean more into 750 as the spot if you were going to try to play for a reversal or a pullback.
Lion saying Cerberus 185. That is indeed the price. I have it pulled up in my broker here. It is not open for trading yet. On when that
we had a little hiccup there with your stream, but you're fine.
My bad.
You're getting go ahead.
We just have a delay here. I'm sorry about that. I was just saying on Cerberus, no indication on the time yet. I'm keeping my eye open for it.
Yeah, Lion mentioning that Micron is starting to come back in. This is going to be one of the names to watch for when that Cerberus IPO happens.
Indeed.
So the mud trade might work pretty soon. It's looking like there's some serious selling really happening right now. What do the Qs look like? But I think even Amanda yesterday was mentioning that she was looking at taking position in Qs, and even though we got a slightly higher print this morning, it looks like we are starting to weaken right now. Juve is on the move. It is. It's continuing to halt up. So here we are approaching the pre-market highs.
Q's basically retraced 50% of that move off the bottom too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it will too. I mean, it's going to eat a lot of these semi-name lunches. I mean, it's going to have a buffet pretty much. You're probably looking at what are some of these other, maybe SNDK? You see them in certainly Micron, AMD. It's going to be a lot of these hardware, these massive movers that we've had recently in the past 30 days that have seen a ton of gains. I think those are the ones that are going to get hit the most. And then we may even see rotation. Okay, so SNAL still having a hard time. That's just pretty much back and forth in a sideways pattern for now. You've put in the best moves. DXF still trying to recover some levels here. This thing has got such little volume. I'm not really enthusiastic about it right now, but that could change on a dime. MobX still trying to deal with its VWAP, FTNT, a little bit of a pullback to support at 65 EMA. Maybe this is just the pullback it needs before it launches higher towards 120. And then AIIO, looks like we did back test that neckline. I think the move down could be coming here pretty soon.
JD says the Cerberus quote updated at 380. Is that a typo? Is that a typo, JD? That stock's going to open at 380? That's insane.
Concorde fly. What about Concorde? Remember that aircraft getting to London to New York in like a couple hours, something like that? What's the, if anybody has the time for Juve, the next halt might be that pre-market high, and then we could see some selling. Just something to keep in mind here. Don't know what the expectation is going to be with Juve, but I would think that we do see that pre-market high print. Looks like MOBX is also trying to make a move here up through the VWAP. Actually, it's above VWAP right now, trying to climb higher. 425, the current high in MOBX.
And JD, yeah, I'm seeing this now from Zero Hedge. Cerebras shares indicated to open at 350 after being priced at 185. Oh, that's fun.
Please be careful with Cerberus today, folks. We still have
yes.
tomorrow, and I would love for all to come back.
Yes, thank you, 13. Please be careful.
Fortinet, FTNT, just had a good little support from the 65 EMA, trying to push back up to the session highs. It needs a little bit more volume to climb higher.
That reminds me of Men in Black, by the way, 13. Fasten your seatbelt. You see, we need to work on your people skills. Fasten your seatbelt, please. That's exactly what the
Elvis isn't dead, he just went home. Oh, I think that joke may have froze his internet. Yeah, I think that joke froze his internet. I got to calm down.
It probably did. I'll calm down a little. Sorry.
All right, here we are with Juve. We had that unhalt. It popped up right just shy of the session or the pre-market highs. We started seeing some selling. Halted to the downside now at 170. And let's see, what's the next one to move here? Looks like Fortinet's trying to get that move over the current session high. Volume needs to be better. Like a broken record with every time I say that. You're waiting for SoFi to let you know if there's any shares of CRBS IPO. Bruce, you're going to take a shot here at SNAL.
Lion, how is SoFi in terms of getting you exposure to new IPOs? Like, have you done it a number of times? Do you get a good amount of stock? Do you have a high hit rate on it? How does that work with SoFi as that broker?
QUCY. Is that one of the quantum names? It looks like it.
Yep. Just reported earnings.
Quantum Cyber. Yeah, that's right. They had earnings. And I think that wasn't yesterday. That was 2 days ago, wasn't it? Let me look here. Where was earnings? I was not seeing it show up on the news feed. Why is that? Here, let me look at the calendar here. Or I'm sorry, market events. What was this? March? No,
was this not the?
Yeah, it looks like they just had it in March.
This was. Yeah, no, this was not. This was not the earnings one. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, they had their annual report, their Form 10 in March. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that.
Still nice move. I mean, this one. This is a German company. This one. I wonder if we were seeing a sector move like all the quantum names. What's QBTS doing? That's down. Inflection, that is up slightly. What's Ionic doing? Oops, One too many eyes. That's up slightly. I don't know what's going on with QUCY. Drone license contract. Thank you, Liz. All right, so here we go. FTNT back up to the session highs, trying to push through right now. AIIO, there's that move down we were waiting for that 200 EMA. DXF still sideways. You've still halted. Snail also sideways. Bitcoin rejected again at 80,000. Still expect Bitcoin to do a lot of bouncing around before it really does, climb higher. I don't think we'll see that climb really begin until next year. Just kind of waiting for this next move here in a lot of these names. Waiting for that unhalt from Juve, see where it goes to. Wolf coming back off of the 198 high, but getting support from the VWAP. Watch for this to recapture 69. DXF looking a little interesting.
IREN at highs. NBIS at highs. CoreWeave at highs.
John, Ryan's having some internet issues. Comcast is working on his internet, so he's here via mobile tether today. Oh yes, thank you for reminding us, JD. Clarity Act is going to be up for a vote today. Now, this is the Senate is it the House committee? Because I think this is just a vote to bring it to the floor, not on passing it. Let me double check that, because I think that's my understanding was. Let's see. Yeah, the Senate Banking Committee is, I think this is a markup vote. So this is going to bring it to the full floor. I believe that's what this is about, this vote. So still pivotal and crucial. Okay, yes, thank you, Kenneth. Yeah, it's what is squawked in real time? I guess I missed that.
Sorry, can you hear me? I'm just wondering if my audio is not all that great. The news for Joe, the news on SMCI was squawked. It was not part of the news feed.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I thought you were talking about what I was saying.
Nope, sorry.
Okay, so no worries. So anyway, that's what's going on with the stuff we were just referring to. What was it? Clarity, or the Clarity Act we were just referring to. Jay, I would say NVIDIA. I think NVIDIA's got some kind of partnership deal or even a position in them in one capacity or the other.
They have a stake in all of those. Yep.
Okay. I got a Jay trivia right.
Yeah, you did. That was a good one too.
My day's going to be good. My day's going to be good. FTNT, here we are with new session highs. That is working out pretty well. Man, you take it off your screen 1 minute and it makes its halted move, and it halted, went lower, lost VWAP, and halted again.
QUCY popping to the highs out of its halt now. 275 your high. QUCY. That was a good mention earlier today.
Looks like MobX still trying to, still getting some upside pressure here, but holding above VWAP for now. Fortinet still climbing. I have a weird low volume print in the pre-market of 119.74. I don't know if you've got that little phantom print. This is when there was maybe a handful of shares being traded every other minute. So it's just like this one seller up, this one trade up here at 119.74, and then it was right back down into the 118 handle. I don't know if you have that, but that's the next spot to watch for. The price might run to. All right, Lion, have a good one. Get those get those biscuits made or whatever it is you're serving. And show that employee what you had to miss out on. I'm just messing. All right. Anything that's looking good to anybody? Because it seems like there's a lot of polling happening here in the market.
Yeah, the only thing that's not pulling is the SPY. That continues to set new highs, 746.37 at 13. The indexes are climbing up, but it seems like, as far as some of these individual names, it seems like we're just waiting for this IPO to open. I think this is going to be the biggest event of the day.
Okay, so nothing's really changed here since my last pop off, but FTNT still climbing. AIIO still looking weak, although it's getting some support at 340. There's a buyer down there that's currently propping up some of the price action, but don't know if we're necessarily going to see a reversal here. UV is halted to the downside. SNAL, this is looking weak, back down towards the 65 EMA, and might end up losing that as well. DXF still sideways. MobX still above VWAP, but looking a little weak. Geo hit 2341. That's coming back down to its VWAP. TDIC is halted to the downside, trying to hold above 16 and the 200 EMA. Out of this halt, we might see it trade underneath that moving average. AEHL, this was moving nicely in the pre-market, double topped with the after hours high and the pre-market high, and that has resolved lower, now halted underneath the 200 EMA on the 5-minute.
Oracle spiking on volume.
FTNT still going up too. Now, what's Oracle at? Because I've been concerned about the $200 level for Oracle.
194.77.
Okay. The reason I'm a little bit worried about that particular level is if you look at prior to all that the price action that we had in last year, with the Liberation Day and the rally afterwards, it took this stock up to the 300s. There was a breakout level that was from the price of from the November 2024 highs, and when we broke out of that, that was in June of 2025. That became a support level, and when we lost that support level, it became resistance. So now we have $200 as a resistance level. We've already faced one rejection from that earlier this month on the 7th. We hit $200.15 exactly, came back down towards the 20-day SMA. Now we're trying to climb back up to 200 again. So 200 is a big resistance area that I'm keeping an eye on. If we don't get that breakout that takes us up to the 200-day SMA, I feel like we could reverse here in Oracle.
TSM strong, also up 4.5%.
FTNT broke over that little phantom trade in the pre-market. 119.80 is the high now. Inflection. Now, I don't know what's going on with the quantum names, if they're all doing this, but Inflection just hit 14. QUCY was one that was, that's up almost 100%. Holy hell. Now it is 100%. But maybe backing off. Now, why are these other names? Okay, now we're seeing, it doesn't seem like these other quantum names are really going. Kind of, but not really.
Sorry, 13.
Nope, no problem.
Sorry for the dead air.
No, I'm just kind of looking through some of these because there's a lot of tickers that are being mentioned here. PURR. Yeah, Rocket Lab. What's Rocket Lab doing today? Because that one's been pretty fantastic. I would expect that to be lower, but it's not.
QUCY tapped 3 and came back in. Biggest volume candle of the day on that push up to 3. All I know is Anne-Marie's Oracle butterfly that had 200 as the body is printing away. Indeed.
BlackBerry. Could this be like CSCO, 30-year base of chop? Well, there's, not in the same space. CSCO is important for a very different reason. They have a very big data center angle and interconnectivity. With BlackBerry, I think that's going to be so CSCO is going to be more hardware on the hardware side, and BB is more on the software side. But I think BlackBerry is going to be, as you already know, it's going to be bigger in the robotics space than it is in the data center space. So I think that's, I think you're referring to in terms of how it's going to trade. I don't know that we're going to, get back up to where it was prior to them stopping smartphones. It'd be interesting, but I think there's going to have to be some significant piece of news that would take it back up there, and I don't know what that's going to be. It might be some massive partnership, but I don't know exactly what it's going to be. Still, I like BlackBerry. I like the QNX platform. I like the Ivy platform, and they are very, very big in end-to-end encryption, and they are used by the U.S., Canada, a lot of governments. So I'm very interested to see where this goes with BlackBerry, but I don't know if we're going to see some of the crazy moves in BlackBerry like we're getting with CSCO. IGV also red to green, so it is looking like software is coming into some more favor here. Well, it would be nice if we could get out of this consolidation we've been in since February. I mean, if you look at the IGV daily chart, since losing the $90 level, we've just kind of been bouncing around between what seems like 75 and 90. Need a meaningful move out of this sideways channel, and I would say need to get back up to the 500-day SMA.
All right, 13, we did it. We are out of time here today. I just want to give a special thank you to you for being able to cover and handle this a little bit more with my internet outage. Comcast swears that it'll be back, so I should be back 100% tomorrow. We should be good to go. Any closing words for the group today, 13? Hey,
no problem. Happy to always help. Just so kind of surprises me when suddenly everything goes quiet and I have to go into, I'm time to host mode. But it's not a problem. Happy to do it. And hopefully the internet gets resolved. Folks, keep these movers on your watch list. Maybe one of them will put in a crazy move here later today. And then we can come back here tomorrow and talk all about it. So until then, keep an eye on your trades. Have a good rest of your day. And I'll see you on Friday. Bye-bye.
All right, 13, take care. Good stuff, folks. Thanks for putting up with my spotty internet here today. Good luck on the Cerberus IPO if you trade it. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. We'll see you back here bright and early for PreMarket Playbook tomorrow on Friday. Stay safe, stay green, stay focused. I had that out of order, but do it. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.